We good? Yeah, there
Yep.
you go. Yo, man, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Listen Up podcast, man. As you know, I'm Brandon.
It's your boy Sam.
Hey, man, we're gonna get into a lot of different things, man. A lot of different areas. First up, of course, is Urban Meyer to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think we all talked about it, but I don't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I know I didn't believe it, but I'm glad it's here. And then we're gonna dive into Florida State, man, and transfer portal. We've made a lot of moves, signed a lot of players, man. We're gonna dive not really specifically into the players. I feel like y'all done been, had that, but we really gonna talk about, the impact that some of these players can make, man, and how it works. So, we're gonna get into it, man. But before we jump into it, rate, review, subscribe, go in and hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, share the pod, retweet the pod, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram now. Yo, man, absolutely, man. Keep doing your thing, man. We appreciate it. Sam, man, it's been a minute. How you been, man?
Yeah, man, everything's been good. It's been like a whirlwind lately, man. Trying to finish up some of these projects I got going on with work and everything, and the kid and just everything, man. And it's like FSU. We watch a national champion get crowned. Nick Saban just won his sixth national championship, which is pretty damn impressive in my opinion.
100%.
Um, So, it's just been a lot going on in college football, you know what I'm saying? So, but it's been hard. I know it's been hard for both of us to link up lately, man, with everything going on. It's been
No,
crazy.
no, it's the same, man. Like, you were dealing with things or whatever. You was like, yo, I'm trying to get up with you. And then as soon as you got clear, then everything, on my end started falling. I was like, yo, I'm out here moving and shaking, trying to get to work, trying to balance work and home. I had my kids with me. My daughter wasn't feeling well, so I had to deal with that, man. It was a lot going on, man. So I'm finally glad we are able to get back with you guys. I promise you, keep rocking with us. We'll definitely be more consistent, man. It's just, sometimes life happen, man. So yeah, I definitely apologize for not being able to get, to give y'all what y'all wanted. I've had, some people DM. I know you have as well. Somebody, send us a message like, yo, we all gonna pod again. So, we definitely, man, we apologize for that. But we'll bring it back to you more consistently, man. Just, early in the year, man. It seemed like everything have to happen early in the year, and then, we kind of find a smooth footing, man. So
Yep. Most definitely, most definitely.
yeah, man. So listen, let's dive right into it, man. Let's not even bury the lead, man. Jacksonville Jaguars got Urban Meyer. Uh, I'm gonna be honest with you. I absolutely didn't believe that was gonna happen. Like
Hmm.
I didn't think it was gonna happen. I didn't think it was gonna. I didn't think it was possible. Honestly, I didn't think he was coming back, and I definitely think he was coming back to the Jaguars. And so, early on, everybody was like, "No, they're gonna pay him the money. He gonna get it." And then it was kind of like, "Nah, that deal fell through. Ain't gonna happen." And so, of
Right.
course, everybody went through like the dumps. All right, well, who's backup plan? Who, we went through like may have been only like 24 hours, but it was
Right.
like 24 hours of just, all right, you know what? We don't even need Urban. We don't need Urban. So like,
Yeah.
that hurt feeling stuff. You know what I mean? So everybody like, nah, we don't really need Urban. Blah blah blah. And then come to find out the next day, reports are coming out it was a done deal. So listen, man, I'm happy. I'm happy for it, man. Again, I feel completely different um, as a Florida State fan. I hated Urban, but I respected him as a coach. Now having him as your coach, man, I love it. You know what I mean? I love it. The guy is proven to be a winner. The guy is proven to be a guy who gets players. You know what I mean? He's able to adapt. We've seen him do it at Utah. We've seen him do it at Florida. We've seen him do it at Ohio State. Like wherever he goes, he brings wins. So for me, man, I think it's a home run hire.
Yeah, definitely. I think so too, man. I mean, I talked to somebody because I didn't think the urban thing was actually real. I didn't think it was real at all. And I was speaking with somebody. I was like, "Is this real?" And they was like, "Actually, it is real." And they started naming all the reasons why he was going to come to Jacksonville. Like basically how I mean, low key, he's kind of tired of the college football game right now. A lot of things are out of your control in college football. You get blamed for a lot of things that are out of your control in college football. And he took a sabbatical, took a break to refresh his mind, and he been spending a lot of time with NFL teams. And I mean, he got a plan for how he want to build an NFL football team, and Jacksonville gives him the place where he can actually build and a place where he can really cement his legacy. You know what I'm saying? So it just makes sense to me. Once they explained it to me, that it just made sense. And everything that person said that Urban was going to do, he's pretty much already starting to attack right now. So um, and it's important. I think a lot of people keep saying they don't know if he's going to be successful, but I would say this to you though. Cliff Kingsbury has been pretty damn okay at Arizona. He has not been terrible at Arizona. You know what I'm saying? And Urban Meyer, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say Urban Meyer's a better damn coach than Cliff Kingsbury. You know what I'm saying? So,
Hundred
so
percent.
right. So I'm willing to go that far with it. So I think he's definitely going to be a good. And I think the fact that he has opportunity to get the guys he want to go get. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's going to be enough roster turnover where he can grab the guys that he want to go get and do the things he want to go do with the roster. So I think it's going to be good. I really do believe that, man. I think I don't think he's going to coach a long time because he don't do that. He's a change agent. But
Right.
I think he'll be like the president of the Jacksonville Jaguars, like in 4 years. And a lot of the concerns that people have is about far as like, he leaves place in a disaster. I think he learned his lesson after he left Florida. I think he learned his lesson about, how you leave a place and how that looks on your in your legacy. You know what I'm saying? So honestly, I think he's gonna be fine, man. I think Urban's gonna be fine. I'm happy. I'm ecstatic, man. I'm ecstatic about Urban, man. I really am.
No, I'm with you, man. Like I think the thing that I know about Urban Meyer is he's really good at surrounding himself with some of the best pieces available. You know what I mean? Like, in
Right.
other words, the thing that again, I told you, we've talked about my opinion on Dabo Sweeney. I think he's a clown. But one thing I will give Dabo a lot of credit is he surrounds himself with guys who are much smarter than he is. And
Right.
guys who are much, you know what I mean? Who are much smarter than he is and who are great at what they do. And what you're
Right.
seeing now already is he's already starting to surround himself with some guys, one that he trusts, guys that respect him, guys that he respects, and some of the best. So if he continues to do that,
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? That's what we've known about him. You know what I mean? He's going to surround himself with great coaches, great talent. And here's the other thing: Jaguars in a wonderful position to one. You're going to start out with a franchise, what you believe to be a franchise quarterback in Trevor Lawrence, probably one of the best prospects that has come out in who knows how long. You got what is it? The first out of the six picks in the first 60. You know what I mean? Six picks in the first 63 picks. At this point, he's starting out. And I think he's looking and saying, "Man, I can flip this roster real quick." So I'm thinking, man, Urban Meyer is definitely going to say, "I think he's going to be successful." And I honestly think he's going to be successful fairly quickly,
Right.
because I do think they got a lot of weapons at wide receiver already. They found a running back in Robinson, who's already, you know what I mean, who's shown that he's going to be good. The line looks like it's decent and did a really good job in run blocking specifically.
Right.
Um, I'm looking at it and I'm saying, man, he's coming into a good situation. If you tell me you're gonna give him a franchise quarterback and some ability to maybe hone up that defense, I just think he's walking into, which is for me, I thought it was a very easy decision. You know what I mean, for him to come. But I just again, I knew he was asking for a lot. Jacksonville is
Yeah.
known to be very, very cheap. And so I was glad Shaw, basically said, all right, I'm gonna come off the wallet and we're gonna, make it happen.
Right. Yeah. I mean, bro, you got to think about it though. He's coming somewhere where he's not going to be compared to anybody. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? He's not going to live up to anybody else's expectations. I mean, it's pretty much just he's going to be the king on his mountaintop. You know what I'm saying? And for Urban, I mean, that's something that appeals to him. And he got a relationship with Shah Khan, which
He got a
I didn't
relationship
know
with
that.
Shaq Khan. He has ties to the city. You know what I mean? With Tebow and the family. He's from Gainesville, so the Florida fans gonna love him. The Florida State fans know about him. I honestly, man, I don't think you could have had a better hire. I
Right.
just don't. I don't think it's possible for you to have had a better hire. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just it's one of those things to where you got a guy who everybody's familiar with, who has a unbelievable resume, who's known for building programs. You know what I mean? Now he's only done it in college, but we talked about it before. The college game is trickling way more and more into the NFL game than the NFL is trickling into the college game. It's been in my opinion. So I don't see it being like a huge step. Oh, and he never did this before. I hear you, but at the end of the day, my man has done it at every. You know what I mean? He's done it at multiple locations in college. At some point, I believe you build the reputation of I'm here for a good time, not a long time. He
Yeah.
gonna win. He gonna win it shortly, and he gonna get the hell out of there. And
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
like I said, if Kingsbury from Arizona can do it,
Right.
I think Urban can muster up some 8-8 seasons and find himself in a playoff, in year 2, year 3. I think they're going if he make the right hires at coordinator, I think they're going to the playoffs next year. And
Yeah.
you know me, I'm not some big I'm not this over optimistic, person, you know what I'm saying? But you just look at it. DJ Chark is a good wide receiver. Chenault is a good wide receiver, good young wide receiver. You're gonna bring Trevor Lawrence. You're gonna give him James Robinson. You throw him a tight end in there. You build a defense in free agency. I just, and then like Urban said, and we're gonna get to Florida State now in a minute. And this is a total difference from the coach that we got currently. When you talk about guys making excuses and everything about players and everything, the first thing Urban said is, we're gonna treat our players great.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna treat our players great. We're gonna work them hard, but we're gonna treat them great. And when you think about Urban, dude, that's what he does. I mean, to a detriment.
It's called reading the room. But for him to say that is basically saying, I've read the room. I know what the fans think. I know what the media said, and I know how y'all been perceived. Y'all been perceived as mistreating your players. Y'all been perceived as again, we saw what happened with Jalen Ramsey. You know what I mean? We seen what happened with Yannick Ngakoue. We've seen what happened with some of your other players. At this point, y'all got a bad reputation.
Right.
So I need this to be known from the very beginning. We're gonna treat these players the way they need to be treated. We're gonna treat these players the right way, and I'm gonna make sure that everything that we do is on the up and up. And like you said, that's basically what he's done, man. He's one of the things that I really like about Urban is his ability to get into the psyche of people. You know what I mean? To get into the psyche of his players.
Right.
We laugh at it, but the ability to manage the roster with Percy Harvin, Aaron Hernandez, and Tim Tebow is really, really difficult. You know what I mean? Like those are 3 different levels of people. You know what I mean? Right. You got an overly religious, superstar essentially in Tim Tebow, right? You got Aaron Hernandez, who's a sociopath, I guess, if we were to really label him, you know what I mean? And then you got Percy Harvin, who is for all, may also, I don't know if he got bodies, but he definitely is, has shown to be a bit unstable based on the stories we've heard. Like, you tell me you can manage all 3 of those personalities in one locker room just by itself, just them 3. Now, there was a whole lot more on that team. The Pouncey brothers, I think, also a bit of a head case. But you manage just those 3 personalities in one on one team. Hats off. You know what I mean? And so the ability to just manage all these different personalities, I think, is what's great about it. And when you're dealing with NFL players, you're dealing with a lot of egos. You're dealing with money. You're dealing with different levels of money. And I think his ability to that experience, I think, will come in huge for him. I think, honestly, that's what's led to Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff Kingsbury is very similar to that. You know what I mean? His players like him. He manages the people. He manages the relationships. And so him being that type of player, that type of coach, I think makes those players want to play for him. And I do think you'll be able to get some guys in free agency. You're going to be able to get pretty much any wide receiver, because I do think a lot of guys are going to want to come play for Trevor and want to play for Urban.
Yeah, most definitely. It's a win-win scenario, dude. Like, I keep hopping on Kingsbury because it's like, if that dude can go 7-9 and 8-8 and 9-7 in the NFL, he was terrible in college. He's not a bad coach in the NFL right now, man. And Urban is a proven winner, bro. I think they're gonna be good. Like, somebody he gonna be like Nick Saban in the NFL. Like, Nick Saban went 9-7 in the first year. I'll take 9-7. Like if that's what you're telling me he's gonna be.
We just won. We just lost how many straight. You tell me we're going 9-7 next year. Sign me up.
I'm taking 9-7 right now off the top.
Right
So,
now. No questions asked. Yeah, I don't care how I
so,
look. You give me 9-7 next year, I'm taking it.
yeah,
I buy my season tickets today if you can guarantee 9-7.
Yeah,
Y'all tripping.
People talking about he gonna be like Nick Saban. I'm like, if you'd have gave Nick Saban Drew Brees, Nick Saban probably still in the NFL competing in the AFC East with Bill Belichick. You know what I'm saying? They're still going at it to this day. But I mean, that didn't happen. Right. So he went back to the college game because he could get more control. And
I got more control of who I can get to lead my team. Yeah.
And guys like Urban Meyer, like he don't know how to lose, bro. When he do lose, he gets sick and he leave. Like he can't take it. He can't take losing. So I need that type of energy. I need that energy.
Because that's how I be. That's how I've been watching these Florida State games. Is like I be sick. I be sick to my stomach after watching these games. I need my coach to have it. Like we asked that out of our coaches. What's funny is, man, I don't feel like they care enough. I don't feel like they, you know what I mean? I don't feel like they absolutely care enough, or they don't show it. Man, Urban be ready to die behind this. You know what I mean? Urban be sick. Urban be sick and ready to quit. That's how I feel. I want my coach to feel the same way I feel, so I respect it.
But you know, it's possible that he's matured and learned. Because in my opinion, the way he left Ohio State, he left them in good hands. Like he didn't leave them devastated like he did Florida. He left them in good hands.
He set them up, that great recruiting class, and passed the baton on to the dude who I've been training for the last time. He did what Bobby Bowden did for Jimbo Fisher. I'm gonna give you the key. I'm gonna give you the key.
Bobby didn't do that, but
Bobby did, man. Oh, listen, I get it. Bobby
thought he was still going to be working
with the Corvette. Bobby left him with the Corvette. Again, now we can talk about the engine needed to be changed. You know what I mean? It needed a tune up. It was a lot of stuff. But
Bobby got thrown out the van, bro. They threw Bobby out the van.
They did throw Bobby out the van, but he still got. But again, it was left into the hands of Jimbo Fisher had the influence and ability to learn up under Bobby Bowden. Now again, Jimbo had his experience at LSU. I get it, but he had
Jimbo
the ability
to push Bobby Bowden ass out the door, bro. And he did the right thing.
He needed to at that time, but I'm still not going to act like Bobby didn't contribute and help out and help in that situation.
If it was like Bobby, he would have been on the sidelines till this day.
Listen, we on a whole nother conversation. He had to have been pushed out the van, but he still left it with he was left with a well-oiled machine. In other words, the brand is the brand. We listened to Mackenzie Milton in this press conference, what did he say? He said the brand is the brand. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's one of the things we talked about. Like, we were like, how is he getting all these? I think somebody maybe sent the question to the podcast page. How is he getting all these transfers? And for me, it was simple. The brand is the brand. Like, the brand is the brand, and Florida State speaks like the name, the logo, it all speaks for itself. And he has a shitload of playing time to offer. To me, it's very simple.
Okay, let's talk about the brand being the brand type thing.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
This is a lot of this stuff is just talk. Okay, you got the dude. What's his name? Jermaine Johnson. He was like, he could see the culture has already changed. You know what I'm saying? He likes the culture at Florida State.
Well, coach is great when you got to play no games on Saturday.
So what I'm curious about is, what was the culture at Georgia? I mean, what?
You see me? I don't want no parts of that.
What a good coach at Georgia going to Sugar Bowls? Sugar Bowls wasn't the move. Like, what's the culture?
So this season competing for national championships. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so a lot of this stuff is just talk. And the brand, I don't know a lot of people that probably was knocking down the door to get Mackenzie Milton. He came off a devastating injury, But at the same time, I don't mind having Mackenzie Milton on the roster because I feel like he can bring a lot of valuable things off the field, regardless of how he play on the field, And that, to me, is important. Like, from everything, I talked to somebody about Jermaine Johnson, like, how good is Jermaine Johnson? And it was like, well, he's a little bit better than Robinson, so if that's what he is, and that's just what he is, the way they made it sound was he wasn't much better than Robinson. So, that's something that we have to look at. And I'm not mad or upset about that because we needed to replace Robinson. We needed that to happen. So I'm not upset about that at all. I feel like we've replaced some of the players. I don't feel like we've drastically upgraded the way people think we have. I think we've replaced Webb with DJ Williams. I don't think DJ Williams and Webb is that much different. Yeah, I really don't. I don't see a real big difference in those guys. I think Webb. I don't know if Webb's better. I don't know if Williams is worse. I think they're about the same caliber. You know, so I feel like we bringing back pretty much the same team we had last year. That's how I feel.
So I
But
thought
we got
about this,
guys that
right?
want to be here now.
Yeah. Okay. Um, so I thought about this for a minute. What I thought about was, you remember when like I don't know if you know. So in Palatka there's a store. It's called a scratch and dent store, right? So I needed a refrigerator for my garage, and I was gonna go out and buy one. My dad was like, "Yo, go to Palatka. There's a scratch and dent store."
Right.
So when something fall, gets damaged in shipping or whatever it is, refrigerators, microwaves, whatever, they get a little damage. They're not gonna still sell it to the stores or whatever because they need brand new stuff. So they then scratch and dent store buy it at a reduced price and then sells it at a reduced price. So I
Right.
go over to the scratch and dent store and I buy me, pay $100 for just a refrigerator to put in my garage to keep some soda and stuff so the kids don't run in and out of the house when they're outside playing. Cool,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
That's what I feel like Mike Norvell's approach to this is. Like he's at this scratch and dent store, basically like, I need whatever the other people don't want. Whatever you don't want, whatever you don't we can't necessarily sell to the big time programs, not the starters, but I just need some ancillary. I just need something to kind of fill some holes.
Right.
You ain't gonna come in. It's not gonna change the program. We're not gonna revolutionize anything. It's not the brand new stainless steel Samsung stainless steel smart refrigerator, but it's just something to kind of put in the garage. You know what I mean? Like I've looked at it from that perspective, and I say it's useful.
Right.
I mean, you know what I mean? It ain't. I think a lot of people have kind of gotten too hype on the idea that, what I mean, like the defense end from Georgia. Yeah, like based on his numbers and talent, and from what I've read and seen, he probably gonna be a difference maker. I think that may be the only one though. You know what I mean? Mackenzie Milton may be a difference maker as well. But when I looked at the DBs, we deep at DB. We was already deep at DB. So I'm not looking at the DBs they brought in and say, oh, he's that much better than who we already have on the roster. Same thing with safety. We've recruited well at DB and safety, and we deep at those positions. So when I look at it, and I say, all right, you just added some bodies to
Yeah.
already, to depth. Okay, so now somebody gets hurt, you don't have maybe as much of a drop off as you did this year, but for the most part, I don't know if anybody's beating out the guys that we currently have at those two positions. Defensive tackle that we picked up. Again, I'm not good with these names, but if y'all want to really break down with all the names and stuff like that, go listen to the Nolecast. They break down each player by name or whatever. But the defensive tackle we got was a part of a defensive line that really wasn't that great. You know what I mean? They were like 97th in rush in run stopping. We were 96th or 98th. So I mean, we were replacing average guys with average guys, and that's fine because we've lost some average guys. But at the end of the day, and we needed bodies to fill those holes, and so we asked who was going to come in to fill them. Great, but we're shopping at the bar. We're shopping in the bargain bin and in the discount
But
racks.
let's talk about though. I want to go back to the safety thing. I want to go back to the DB
Yeah.
part. I said before the season that we didn't have a in-box safety that Fuller actually needs for this defense. Remember I said that before the season started? I
Yep.
said that. I said they need he does a lot of tricky stuff with his safeties, and you need a safety that's damn near a linebacker
Right.
to come up and fill.
And we thought Woodbay would be able to play that role.
Well, I didn't think that,
I
but
thought that.
people
Yeah.
thought that. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And I said that he doesn't have that safety. And people got mad at me about that. It was like, no, they started naming every safety we had on the roster. And I was like, well, those safeties are single high safeties. You know what I'm saying? Those are guys that can go single high, and kind of are built more for a cover three than they are for like what Fuller's trying to do. So the guy, Jamie Robinson, in my opinion, that guy was not a good coverage guy, but he might be a good guy for safety to put in the box to make plays in the box, which is what you need. And that'll free up a guy like a Travis J to patrol the back end of the defense a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? So I'm actually a little bit higher on Jamie Robinson than most people are because, in my opinion, they needed a box type safety. They didn't have that before. Brandon Moore, you need a DB because it's still possibilities that Dent may not be here after this season, may not even make it out of spring. It's possibilities that certain guys, not really feeling the defensive coordinator. You know what I'm saying? So it's possible that you could lose a couple of DBs in the offseason. So if you hearing whispers like that, you need to be proactive and go ahead and start getting guys now. So I know a lot of people are down on like why we getting defensive backs. Well, if you lose one or two after the spring, then what? You still got to have bodies. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I'm not as down. I'm not as down on that. DJ Williams, I understand DJ Williams. You need to replace Webb. I know people like the running backs. I personally do not like Corbin as much as everybody else do. I think DJ Williams is a good running back. You know what I'm saying? And Andre,
I think DJ. Hold on, real quick. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I think DJ Williams is Corbin though. Are they not the exact same football player?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Like, neither one, yeah, but what I'm saying, you didn't replace Webb. You basically got two Corbins in there. Neither one of them are home run hitters. They both downhill, very thick, very big backs who are bruising type backs. I mean, so if you tell me you can't, I don't think you needed another Corbin when you got Corbin. You needed another Webb. You know what I mean? You needed another home run threat.
I think DJ Williams is Webb, personally. I mean, I'm sorry, you said Corbin. I didn't really hear you, but yeah, I think he is Webb. I think he compares more to Webb than he does Corbin.
Okay.
I mean, that's my opinion. I mean, I could be wrong.
Again, based on what I've seen, I mean, he seems like a punishing running back. He seems like a bruising. I mean, again, I don't want people to take it and say that I think he's a bad running back. I don't think he's a bad running back at all. But I don't think he's a home. Webb was a home run threat. I didn't think he was early on. He turned out to be that as the season progressed and as he got more comfortable with the offense and especially with the mobile quarterback. He ended up becoming a home run threat, and we saw him make a lot of, again, runs that would require him that were more physical, but he could also take it to the house. Corbin didn't really show that ability until like the last game of the season when we saw it. Outside of that, Corbin really was shown as a, Leonard Fournette. I'm gonna give you, some tough 6 yards. In my opinion, Williams compares more to that than Corbin. I think so Philly should be your primary running back, and then you can bring Corbin / Williams in your short yardage situations. But then I guess my question is, what does that do to Corbin? You know what I mean? Like Corbin, I just feel like when you start picking up positions that you don't necessarily need people at, it just becomes a never-ending cycle, right? You got a lot of running backs. So in the event that you got all these, we know that. So Corbin now losing his touches to Williams. You now have Toa Philly, who I believe will end up being your number one running back. Williams comes out the second. What's Corbin now third when he was just the man the year before? What happens to Corbin at that point? Now you're looking at, again, after the spring, he looking at, man, I'm third team out here after the spring game. What does he decide to do? You know what I mean? And so I just think, man, when you start, and the same thing with the DBs, when you start bringing in, now again, you do make a valid point with, him being able to play in the box. So, but when I look at it and I say, man, I think you run into a cycle. So now you lose Corbin, you place Corbin. Now you got to try to find somebody else in the portal to get, I mean? I just think it just becomes never ending, as opposed to get that line. You know what I mean? Your number one focus should be that offensive line and defensive line. And they've done a fairly good job with the defensive line. I'm not overly impressed, but you've done a fairly good job with defensive line. You got a big recruit that I think will come in, and I think you got one out of the transfer portal. So I feel like your ends have definitely shored up. You're still missing something in the middle or whatever. So, we'll see.
I mean, I think you stabilized the defensive line position, and I think you stabilized the defensive back position. You still need 2 offensive tackles.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You still need 2 offensive tackles. And I'm be honest with you, I don't know how they feel about the quarterback situation. I just know you need to bring in a good quarterback in this next recruiting class. I know that. I mean,
they know that. They got to know that.
Right. Right.
I don't want to dismiss,
but having McKenzie Milton, it's a good thing to have him regardless. I don't think he's going to be good this year, but he's good to have on the roster.
I actually think he's going to be good. I disagree. I think McKenzie Milton is a very good quarterback based on what I've seen. I think he's a very good college quarterback. Now, I think I'm not like everybody else who, have dismissed the fact that he said he only 90% is 2 years later. I get the injury was gruesome. It was one of the worst ever. It was, Alex Smith. People didn't think he was going to play again. I get it. all of that.
Yeah.
But we 2 years in, and he say he's still at 90%. I know we shopping in the bargain bins, but you know, I don't know if I could have been, basically selling the fact that all right, we bringing in a quarterback who's still not 100%, healthy, to essentially what people are believing he's going to lead this team back. You know what I'm saying? He's going to lead this offense. You tell me you giving me, I guess it'll be 100% by the time season start next year. But now you're talking about 1 year, or not even a full year, removed from one of the worst injuries we've seen. This is first year back. It's like there's a bit there's going to be some hesitation there. There's going to be some rust.
I
And
think he's
again, he's
I
going
think
with it.
he's I think he's 2 years actually.
No, he's 2 years removed from the injury, but he ain't
Yeah.
100%, so he hasn't played. Is what
Yeah.
I'm saying. This is first year back actually playing. Um, so in my opinion, I'm looking at it, I'm saying, ugh. I mean, I believe he's gonna be good because I do think he's a great thrower of the football. I just think what we've seen is in Mike Norvell's offense, you're gonna have to have that ability to run a little bit. And I don't know how comfortable he is yet in running. We'll have to see. I think the spring will tell us a lot about, where he's at. The spring will definitely tell us a lot about where he's at and how comfortable he is in the offense. And also, what we'll see what we'll see going forward.
Yeah, I mean, we have to prepare ourselves for another bad season. And I think
I've been saying
people
that.
No, I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
and it's not always being negative. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything ain't negative. You know what I'm saying? I think you have to look at this as a whole big picture. You know what I'm saying? And in the big picture, you look at Miami. Miami brought back the offensive tackle from Houston. It's going to be his 6th year. He coming back. They got a 6-year defense end that's coming back. These guys ain't great players because they're not NFL players, but they're sustained depth at positions of need. You know what I'm saying? If we'd have brought Jermaine Johnson back and brought J-Rob, you know what I'm saying, and brought Kendo back, okay, I can start moving the win totals up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
now we got to count on Jermaine Johnson to get to a whole season healthy, and not only be healthy, but be productive every single game, because he's going to be probably our best defensive end. And that's not actually a good thing, because I think the drop off behind him is pretty damn steep. You know
Ain't
what I'm
pretty
saying?
steep. Ain't nothing behind him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
And
all of them gone. You ain't got nothing behind them. That's what I mean.
And if you're playing those true freshmen in September, that's not a good sign. You ideally you want to be playing those true freshmen around late October, early November. That get them time to get really acclimated to what you're trying to do. So we watched a defense where a lot of veteran guys leave that defense, and they was not good on defense. So now you got young guys coming in, and I mean, it's gonna be a big work in progress. And I think I'm not here to tell people, like, I know people call me negative, but a lot of times I'm not even trying to be negative. I just plainly state things that I see, that I don't see this upward mobile movement of the program. I see the program is trying to not crater and trying to sustain itself to create a floor. And we got to raise our floor. And to me, that floor looks like 5 wins, 6 wins, because Boston College is in front of you. Boston College has a quarterback. They have a good offensive line. They has I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's kind of
Boston College they were better this year than, if we're looking at the trajectory, Boston College was better this year than we were. But as it pertains to Milton, though, Milton was the last time we seen him play was a very good quarterback. I believe he'll be a very good quarterback again. I find it difficult. Yeah, so 4,000 yards a year quarterback. He was the best one in the portal. I agree. I agree with all of that. The only when you say 100% by the season, I don't know that. I'm telling you, he's 2 years removed and he's only at 90%. So I don't know how fast his progression is going to be. So we can't say.
Yeah, we got
a long way to go.
But this ain't Madden. You know what I'm saying? This ain't Madden. You know what I'm saying? Just because somebody say 2 weeks don't mean it's 2 weeks. You have setbacks.
Right.
So he's gonna play in a spring game.
Right. We'll see. That's why I said we'll see. We'll know a whole lot more about Milton after the spring game, because the spring game will tell us how close he is to Hunt and how comfortable he looks on that, on his leg. Because right now, man, I'm looking at it and I'm saying, if he's not 100%, it's gonna be tough to not get a guy who's not. And right now, again, him telling us that he's only 90, I thought, to me, was I ain't gonna say a red flag, but it was a bit concerning to say, okay, well, he still got some work to do. Again, not disparaging the kid. I mean, he had one of the worst injuries we've ever seen,
Yeah.
so it makes sense for him to not be 100%. But if I'm Florida State fan, I'm just saying, let's just kind of chill out a little bit.
I would say this. I would say this about Milton, and I'll give y'all some context. And I'm giving y'all, this is a straight line of delineation. Go compare what Alex Smith did this year to what Alex Smith looked like in the past. And I'm that's all I'm saying. Like
Alex
Alex,
Smith was still good. He
but
just wasn't what he was.
he was nowhere close to what he was.
Right.
All he was is a guy that was just not turning the football over and making the right checks. That's
Mm-hmm.
it. I mean, it's throws that he couldn't make anymore. He couldn't slide the way he wanted to slide anymore. It's different. I'm just saying. And now you're gonna put Milton in an offense that it's not a fast-paced offense. Now,
And
Mike, Nor-
predicated on him running the football
Mike
system.
Norvell runs the football a lot. So it's a chance that it works with Milton throwing 15 passes, 20
Right.
passes, and you get away with it. It's very possible that that could work. But Milton is also used to a fast-paced offense. A lot of jet wide receiver screens. You know what I'm saying? So are we gonna be able to block on the edges for jet wide receiver screens? I haven't seen us do that in 6-7 years. So I'm just
We
it's
may be
like
the only team in college football who cannot run a bubble screen. We may be the only team in college football and NFL who
yeah,
cannot run a bubble screen because our receivers do not block.
right.
And I still can't figure out why they won't. Where's the disconnect or whatever? Maybe these new guys be getting in will be willing to block. I don't know, but I agree with you. We have not been able to run a successful bubble screen in forever.
Yeah, I mean, Mike gonna have to make some adjustments to the offense to fit Milton because he need to go fast. He need to get some jet screens going. We need to work the screen game a lot, run the football. I ain't worried about Mike when it comes to run the football. He knows how to get yards out of backs when it comes to run the football. There's no doubt in my mind about that, But
Especially if he got a mobile quarterback. I
but
think
let's
it helps him a whole lot more when his quarterback is mobile.
yeah, but let's switch gears, man. Let's talk about Nick Saban, the greatest coach in college football history, man. I wanna hit that topic, man, before we sign off.
Yeah, I mean, so again, we all watched Nick Saban took apart an Ohio State team that took apart a Clemson team that we thought was really good. I mean, so again, transitive property. Not sure how well Clemson would have fared against Nick Saban, but Nick Saban has now won his sixth, and he don't look like he's slowing down. It's a well-oiled machine. He don't even get excited about him no more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's at this point almost it's expected. You know what I mean? And man,
Well, I want to say this about Nick, man. I keep hearing people compare Nick Saban to I got a lot of FSU fans. They ever talk about, well, Bobby Bowden was better than Nick Saban. I tell people this, and I said Nick Saban is like the greatest college football coach in my lifetime and a lot of other people's lifetime also. And it's not the fact that he wins national championships, it's like what he replaces on that staff, players, the turnover that he has, and he still finds a way to develop those players, to get those players to believe and to win national championships. And people say, well, he's recruiting the best players of the best players. Well, he's created the infrastructure that does that also. You know what I'm saying? So if it was easy to just go get the best players and you win national championships, Bobby Bowden would have had 8 national championships. You know what I'm saying? Like Steve Spurrier would have more than just one. Pete Carroll. How many national championships did Pete Carroll got?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If it's that easy, when you get on top, it would just Miami would have 15, 20 of them. They've had great teams. But Nick Saban finds a way to get it done year in and year out. And I want to bring up this point between him and Urban, because I was talking to somebody about this, and especially I'm talking about just great coaches and what you want to see out of coaching. When you're talking about changing, well, people say the culture, but I would say changing the mindsets and getting people to believe that they're winners is you get those players to buy into who you are, and that foster a belief into winning football games. And nobody's done that better than Nick Saban, Urban Meyer, and Bill Belichick. Like there isn't 3 coaches that's done that better than those 3, man. And something I listened to Nick, I watched the biography with Nick Saban and Bill Belichick, the 2 Bills, and he made a point about how these players have changed, and you have to make it about the players now. You can't make it about yourself. You can't make it
Mm-hmm.
about the program. You got to make it about them. And he told this story about how this guy was going to be a first round pick. Well, he was ranked as a first round pick, probably going to be second round pick. He's telling Bill Belichick about this, and he says, he said, you have to coach them different now. I can't tell you, hey, what you're hurting the team. You're hurting the team. He said that doesn't resonate with players these days. Hurting the team doesn't resonate. He said, so I sat him in the office and I told him, I said, next year you're gonna be making $15-20 million, $10 to $15 million, and then after 4 years, you'll be $25-30-40 million, and you're gonna change everything about your family in the next 4 years. And he said, you're willing to throw that away because you want to be a tough guy at a bar. And he was like, I want you to be a first round draft pick. I want you to go to the NFL and be an all-pro Pro Bowler and eventually make it to the Hall of Fame. And I want to tell my great-great-grandkids how I coached one of the best linebackers of all time. You know what I'm saying? So he said, I made it about him. And he said, you know what, coach, I understand that. And he said, that kid never went back out, never went out to the club, never went out drinking, nothing. Stayed in his dorm room, did his job for the rest of that season, went to the NFL. And understanding your players and getting your players to buy in, not telling your players, if you ain't with my system, get out. You have to win with what you got. And like Urban said, you got to check up underneath the hood, because the coaches are good coaches. The players are good players, because they wouldn't be there if they wasn't good players. So what is the disconnect? The players don't trust the coach don't trust the players. You have to fix that trust. And that's one thing Nick Saban and Urban Meyer both have. They get their players to trust them. And that's something Mike Norvell has to do. He has to get his players to trust him. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's important. That's important. And I just, it has to go off the Nick Saban, because you've seen him do it with every type of quarterback. You've seen him do it with bad defenses. You've seen him do it with bad defense. You've seen him do it with bad offenses and great defense. You've seen him done it with great special teams, with mediocre offense and mediocre defense.
He has figured out a way every single time. I mean,
he maximizes his program, and he maximizes every team that he has. And you can't say that about every coach that's coaching college football.
Right. We're going to wrap on this one. I want to take two of Rose's comments. This first one is
you want to go with Alex or the
the Alex Smith one is way older and he'll faster. I don't know about Alex Smith and how fast he heals. The same way I don't know
Alex
about
Smith also had top-notch medical people working with him also.
That's
a
correct.
Lot better than what FSU or UCF had working with him.
Correct. Not to mention, and they're not that different of injury. They're not that different of injury. Again, go look at it and see the surgeries that he had, and then go from there.
Right.
And then the other one of Bobby Bowden building it from the ground up. I mean, yes, Alabama was a big program. I mean, but look at when he got to Alabama wasn't beating nobody. I mean, Alabama was real bad. You know what I mean?
Right.
Alabama wasn't Nebraska, not where Nebraska is right now. You know what I mean? Like, so I get it. He really did build that one from the ground up. Like, he didn't just come into a well-oiled machine.
What was LSU winning before he got there?
Correct. That's what I mean. So, I mean, I get what you're saying, Rose. I promise you I do, but he built it. He built Alabama into something more than what it absolutely is.
He's changed the way that we look at coaches in college football. I mean, we're firing coaches and they winning bowl games, and we're like, you got to go. You haven't won that championship. I mean, look at Tom Herman. I mean, Tom Herman, in my opinion, people keep calling Tom Herman trash. I'm like, look at Tom Herman. Tom Herman went to a Sugar Bowl, beat Georgia. He's been in bowl games. He just can't beat Oklahoma. But, I mean, that takes time. But these coaches, it used to be a time when you win a New Year's Six bowl game, and you thought, like, okay, we got a good coach. It's a good coach. We can keep him for 12, 15 years. And as long as he takes us to bowl games, throw me some 10-win, 11-win seasons in there, you good. People are questioning Kirby Smart because he hasn't won a national championship.
It's hard to win that championship.
It's hard to win that championship.
And especially hard to win them. Yeah, especially hard to win them in this Nick Saban Clemson era. Yeah.
Well, I'm saying, though, you look at Nick Saban, he wins it so much, it skews people mindset on how hard it is. They think it's
They
easy,
think it's easy.
and it's
Not to
not.
mention they got a bunch of money. They got like they've built the infrastructure of booster support and fan support and
Player support.
player support.
The old,
Like
and
you
then this,
walk into the door and there's an infrastructure in place.
and then
Recruiting
think about
takes
this
care of
though.
itself because we already know how it goes. Like, but these are things that take time. You know what I mean? These are things that take time and have to be built.
Yeah, but think about this though. Even more importantly, what's the narrative from the media when it comes to Nick Saban and Urban Meyer? What's the narrative? Oh, these guys are assholes. Nobody likes them. Nobody wants to work with them. Ba 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 ba.
Somebody else has that reputation too
But
in
you know what?
At Texas A&M.
But you know what? None of that shit is actually true. Look at those players around Nick Saban, dude. All his old players come back and spend time with him. Some of his players even practice with the team. So if you don't like somebody, why would you want to go spend time from you got millions and millions of dollars on your bye week? Why would you come back to Alabama to get a haircut, to be around the kids, to be around Nick Saban? Like all that stuff is BS. And it's like, and I mean, I guess we're a part of the media because we're giving our opinion, but it's like none of that actually fits with the narrative. It doesn't fit with the narrative that Nick Saban's this and Nick Saban's that. Nick Saban is a football coach that loves his player, that's ingrained with football. He has no time for people on the internet telling him how to do and how not to do his job. You know what I'm saying? So,
like I said,
he's not the devil. People keep calling Nick Saban. How is he the devil, bro? Like this man, he's just better. He's better than everybody else. And Dabo Swinney, like much as I don't like Dabo Swinney, I think Dabo Swinney is a clown. But guess what? His players defend him to the hill.
His players defend him to the hill.
They believe in him. It doesn't matter what we believe.
They give up first round money to come back to him. All of that stuff, regardless of what I think about him, they absolutely do it. And the funny thing is, I follow Twitter, and some of these former players who played up under Jimbo Fisher, and they root for Jimbo over at Texas A&M. They root for Jimbo. So again, we heard a lot about him being this and that and the third, but his players absolutely love him. And even with him leaving Florida State high and dry, they seem to be a little bit more loyal to Jimbo Fisher than Florida State at times.
Let's talk about this right here. You talking about people hating Jimbo, how much Jimbo was a dictator and all this other shit. You know what I'm saying? Winning is actually hard.
Yes.
And we should
be nice. Can't be nice to do it. Yeah.
We should all take a step back and we need to recognize that. We should recognize that winning is actually hard. And guess what? Getting people in the damn boat and pushing them towards greatness, because mediocre people don't want to be around high achievers, and high achievers don't want to stomach mediocre people. And at the end of the day, FSU without Jimbo, we're a mediocre program. So who was wrong? Who was wrong? Who was wrong? You know what I'm saying? You have to really look at that and you have to evaluate that and say, what is wrong? I'm just saying, what's broken about FSU that's right about Texas A&M? What's broken about FSU that's right about Alabama, LSU? And the thing people keep saying is, oh, well, we don't have the money. Well, we don't have the money. Well, if we don't have the money, then we should need to accept 6 wins, accept 7 wins, accept that mediocrity and start complaining about it. But if we are going to say we are a perennial national championship program, then we have to start acting like that. You know what I'm saying?
I think the biggest thing, and I didn't want to get on this, but I think we got to stop making excuses, man.
Exactly.
Like the problem I'm having right now with a lot of the fan support is it just seems like a bunch of excuses. Like it feels like we've excused a lot of stuff that we didn't tolerate up under any other coach for Florida. We ain't even tolerated up under Bowden. We ain't tolerated up under Jimbo, and we ain't tolerated up under Willie. But now for some reason we seem to tolerate this under Mike Norvell, and I can't figure out why the excuse.
But you know the crazy part about this, the way the fans view this program is directly reflective of the top of the administration filtering that message through the media. They're taking that message through the media, giving that to the fans, and that's the perception in which these fans view the program. But if you take a big ass step back, like a huge step back, think about what we was told about Jimbo Fisher. Just think about that shit.
Yep.
He's a tyrant. He's an asshole. He's hard to work with. We're so happy he gone. Okay, so he's gone. He's a tyrant. He's an asshole. Think about Nick Saban. He's a tyrant. He's an asshole. Nobody wants to work with him. Nobody wants to be around him. He's a shitty person.
They seem to get
Okay.
all the coaches they
All right.
want to get whenever they want to get
All
them.
right. I mean, I'm just saying, Dabo Sweeney, same way. Asshole. Racist. This person, that person, this, that. He's winning. So is it the media's full of shit? You know what I'm saying? Is the media full of shit what they telling you? Because Willie was a nice guy, but then as we start getting bad, playing bad football, oh, Willie was an asshole. He's a micromanager. He's a da-da-da. He don't put his hands on it. Which one is it? And that's the whole thing. And people need to take a step back and look at this. Stop allowing what the media tell you to give your perception of that coach. You know what I'm saying? Winning is hard. That coach should be an asshole. A CEO, if you've been around a good CEO, a good boss, he's very demanding. I ain't saying be disrespectful. Have some respect. But at the
And
same
some are
time,
disrespectful.
and some are disrespectful.
Yeah.
I've had a boss that I've had to check. I'm like, hey, man, I respect you, but understand this, I cannot be talked to that way. And I will not be talked to that way. And I've done it in front of people, in front of him, in front of other people. You know what I'm saying? To make sure the point is, this is why we're doing it.
Yep.
But at the same time, I respect you because I know you're trying to, you see more in me than I see in myself. You want to drive me to a different point. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So this idea that this person like that person, this person like that person, you're not gonna like high achievers. Michael Jordan, everybody say he's an asshole. Why is all these great people all assholes and arrogant and dicks? Why are they all these things? But they all win. Serena Williams, all these people that people put in this category of assholes, hard to work with, hard to be around.
Prince, Michael Jackson,
Beyonce, Jay-Z. Think about it.
I started in the music industry. So when I came up, man, like some of the people who were the worst to deal with in the studio brought the best out of you. What you realize, man, them people who were telling you to re-record it, they ain't good enough, and you thought you were just giving your best take. Them people in the studio, and you listen to the work that they did with certain people, and work again. There's not been a better John Legend than the John Legend who worked with Kanye West.
Right.
Now, again, people say a whole lot of things about, but he worked with him on 2 albums, and those are his best albums by far. Right. And so again, some people are going to bring the best out of you, and they probably not going to be the best people to work with, and they're probably not going to be very good at, they're probably not going to be really, easy to handle or easy to stomach, but they will get the best out of you. And sometimes you really need that. So in my opinion, man, it's
a lot of great coaches coaching service academies that you like, that you want to talk to.
Really nice people.
Really nice people. So people ain't gonna win national championships. All right. So we need to we need to cut the bitch assness as a fan base, as a media base. You know what I'm saying? Let's cut that
He's
out.
One of those guys who gets the best out of you in the studio. He worked with Diddy. He's one of the guys who will get the best, who would demand the best.
Yeah, I mean, Steve Jobs. These are all assholes, but at the same time, man, results are results, man. So shouts out to Nick Saban, though. My whole point was shouts out to Nick Saban. He is the reason why coaches get fired. He is the reason why coaches get hired.
Yeah, that Nick Saban stamp is real.
He's definitely the GOAT. I'm waiting on the day that it all crumbles and falls down and see what that looks like. I'm very curious what that looks like. But it just seems like every time we say it's over, he goes to the playoffs 3 years in a row or 2 years in a row and winning that championship. So,
Yeah, no, I mean, no, that's 100% correct, man. Listen, Sam, you ready to wrap?
Yeah, man, let's wrap on that note, man. I appreciate everybody coming to the live stream, and we're going to try to get these things out a little bit more consistent. I'm going to try to try to do more.
Yeah, we're definitely. I agree with that. We'll definitely do more, man. We talked about at the top of the podcast, man. Just sometimes we, had to take a little break, man. Just life stuff is happening around you. But no, man, we're definitely getting more consistent, man. Shout out to the You Can't Handle the Truth podcast, Back Channels podcast, Rose Noel, man. You guys were commenting and talking about and engaging with us on the podcast, man. We appreciate you guys, man. So listen, and everybody else, man, who joined, we appreciate you as always. Continue to subscribe, retweet the podcast, man. Sam, we out.
Yo.